So you've just taken a CPA exam and gotten your results back and you didn't pass. You're probably frustrated, kind of annoyed, maybe you feel like you're not good enough, and you're wondering what the next step is from here. I do private tutoring for students for the CPA exam, so I've had some similar questions come up, and I kind of wanted to share what I would tell a student of mine. The first thing is, this is just a temporary setback. And at some point in time, you're going to be done with all the exams and you're going to look back and it's just going to be one small hurdle that you had to get past. So it's just something temporary. The question is really, what kind of approach should you take when retaking an exam? The main way to figure that out is how close were you to passing the exam? So let's first talk about if you were really far off. Let's say it's a 50 or below. This kind of shows that you don't have the core concepts clear enough. So this is where you actually need to go back to the full videos of your CPA course. You need to do a lot of practice questions, but you need to essentially start from scratch and spend a little bit of time going through each topic, not as much as you did at the very beginning, but start kind of revisiting each individual topic. So you have to be pretty thorough with that approach. Now let's say that you were around 65 to 74. Here, you know the main concepts, but maybe there were a handful of questions that just had a miscellaneous topic that you didn't know. So what should you do here? In this instance, you just want to keep the concepts really fresh in your mind between now and the next exam. So you want to review the concepts. If you have some kind of outline, you want to regularly review that between now and when you retake the exam. And do just a lot of practice questions. You're just trying to kind of fine tune, but you don't need to start from scratch. You don't need to go back to all of the source videos. Just get through practice questions and review the topics just to keep it as fresh as possible. So the amount of time that you give yourself, I would say on the very short end, like 10 days before you try to retake it, but then probably not wait more than like a month to retake it. If you give yourself too much time in general, you won't feel that time pressure, and so you're not going to take your studies as seriously. You want to think about this price to time trade-off. So the reality is that retaking the exam is somewhere around $250 based on the state that you're in. And you want to decide how much of my next couple of weeks or months am I willing to give up in order to make sure that I pass the exam. So you could take an aggressive approach and say that you're just going to retake it within about a week. And if you don't pass it, that's okay, because it was worth that risk of $250 to see if you could pass it. Or if you just want to be a little bit more conservative, spend more time reviewing and really ensure that you're going to pass it that next time. So just don't feel too overwhelmed with all of it. Try to go ahead and set up your next exam date. Start regularly reviewing the concepts. Decide if you need to go back to the foundation of the concepts. I kind of picture it like a tree. Like you have the tree trunk, which is the main idea of the concepts. Like with bonds, it's knowing that you need to compare your interest expense to your actual cash paid, and that's like your amortization of your discount or your premium. So if you don't understand that, you really need to go back to the basics. But then apart from that tree trunk, you have all of these separate branches, which are the small additional topics, like what we do with bond issuance costs, for example. So you just need to kind of identify, am I missing the core concept to where I really need to go back to the roots of it? Or is it more so just knowing a couple of exceptions and what the special rules are for it? So those are just a few of my thoughts on how to retake the exam, how to prepare for it, and how long to wait for it. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out. I would love to help out with it. And I hope that this helps you just kind of reframe your mind to not feel defeated so you can prepare just to retake the exam. You will eventually pass it, and then eventually you will be a CPA, and it's going to be awesome, and you won't ever have to think about your CPA exams ever again. So best of luck to you in your studies, and I hope this has helped. Thanks.